In today's video, I have MLB opening day picks and preview for you all, my 4 favorite free plays for this opening day slate, and I have my bonus play for my 100x Novig challenge that we are currently on day 5 of. Day 4, Joel Embiid over 32.5 PRA absolutely crushes it. So we move on to day 5. We're trying to 100x our money. I think if I hit 3 or more plays in a row, we 100x our money. So guys, get on this challenge on Novig. But before we get into covering everything for these plays and recapping, guys, if you're watching this video, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. If we hit 30 likes on this video, I will give out a bonus play for, Friday's plays. So 30 likes, I will give out a bonus play for Friday's plays. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We were absolutely crushing it on our videos recently. This channel is starting to take off. I'm really proud of the community that we are building, and I appreciate every single one of you that watches or just tunes in for any little bit of this channel. I really do appreciate it. So please like and subscribe. It really helps out this channel. Now, before we dive into the picks, a couple things we need to take care of. So I just told you, day 4 of our 100x Novig challenge cashes. We are going to stick with an NBA play for our day 5 play because that's what we've been doing for the previous 4 days. So we're going to stick around later in this video for me to reveal that play. You can also follow me on Twitter. I've been posting and tracking those plays as well. But guys, if you want to get in on this challenge, you guys need to be getting on Novig. Novig gives out a new sign-up bonus recently. Spend $5, get $50 in bonus. When you use my code TEACH10, you will unlock that $50 bonus. Also, if you guys are not on Underdog yet, you guys can play $5 and get $50 in bonus when you use my code TEACH10. So between Underdog and Novig, you only have to put up 10 of your own dollars to get $50 or $100 bonus between the two apps. So that's 10x the money that you're even putting into the app. A lot of apps offer like 100% deposit match, which is nice, but you have to put up a lot of your own money up front to get a lot of money from the company in exchange. So for these two, you just have to play $10 and get $100 bonus. So go sign up for those two apps. The links will be in the description below of this video. Now, quickly recapping our Tuesday plays. Wednesday's plays. My head's all over the place. Wednesday's plays. 1 and 2 on the day. So not a great day. Pascal Siakam over 30.5 PRA. Finished exactly with 29, so he was 2 away. So close. And Embiid smashed over his PRA. We just talked about that. And then AJ Mitchell fell short of his PRA line. And then Ayo Dosunmu did not play, so that pick was voided. Kind of unfortunate there to only have three of our plays going. But either way, we cash out our 100x Novig challenge. That was really the most important thing to me. But we're moving on to MLB opening day. After opening day, I will be going back to NBA as we ramp up into playoffs. And then later on in the season, the MLB, I will start posting videos about those plays. So just a little programming note there. But enough yapping already. Let's get into these plays for MLB opening day. I'm super excited. I'm a huge baseball fan. We're starting off with my favorite play of the day. Garrett Crochet over 7.5 strikeouts. So Crochet has gone over 7.5 strikeouts in 6 of his last 10 games going back to last season. Obviously, it's the first game of the season, so we don't have any hit rates going into this game for this season. So we're relying on data from last year to kind of predict for opening day what we are thinking. So over in 6 of his last 10 starts, head-to-head against the Cincinnati Reds. He did go over in his last matchup going back to late June of this past season where he had 9 strikeouts. So a solid performance there from Crochet. On the 2025 season last year, he hit over 7.5 strikeouts in 61% of his starts. So that's 20 of 33 games. He went over 7.5 strikeouts, averaged just over 8 strikeouts on the season. Now, facing up against the Reds, overall looking at the Reds lineup, not really great in terms of against left-handed pitching. Crochet obviously being a lefty in the year 2025. Against left-handed pitchers, you can see a few green, but the highest average we see is 286 from Stewart and Myers. Other than that, not great against right-handed pitching or left-handed pitching, And against Crochet, only a few guys have really done anything notable, but really what stands out to me is not a lot of guys have even faced Crochet. The most we've seen is a few guys have gotten 5 at-bats, so that's probably like 2 games worth of at-bats against Crochet. Obviously, the Reds being in the National League and the Red Sox being in the American League, these teams don't necessarily face up a ton in every single season. So there's these guys. A lot of these guys have. Some of these guys haven't even faced Crochet. A few guys have had some success in minimal plate appearances or at-bats, but this is since 2018 as well. So this is over the last 7-8 years worth of data, and guys haven't really faced him, so they don't really know what they're getting themselves into. They know Crochet's good, obviously, and they do their own scouting for sure. But I really feel good about this play for Crochet, again, especially since he went over this line last season when he faced him with 9 strikeouts. Fared very well last season, was neck and neck with Scooble for the AL Cy Young. I think Crochet is going to have another great season, so absolutely love this for my favorite play of MLB opening day, Garrett Crochet over 7.5 strikeouts. Moving on to play number 2, Corey Seager over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs, so he just has to have 2 combined of each of those 3 stats. So for Seager, he's gone over this line of 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs in 8 of his last 10 games going back to last season, and finished on a strong note in his last game against the Angels, where they absolutely mashed them. Head-to-head against the Angels, against the Phillies, not the Angels. Head-to-head against the Phillies, he's gone over this line in 2 of his last 3 games going back to last season, and on the season last year as a total, he went over this line of 1.5 in 56% of his games. So that's 57 of 102 games. Averaged a little over 2. He averaged 2.1 hits plus runs plus RBIs last season. So more than capable of doing this more times a season than not again. Now, Seager is a left-handed batter going up against a left-handed pitcher, which we know usually not a very favorable matchup. But if we look at the Rangers against left-handed hitting last season, you can see that Seager hit 222 in 135 at-bats. Honestly, not that great. I could understand why you'd probably be skeptical about this, but then you go look at his at-bats versus Christopher Sanchez since 2018, and Seager is 2 for 3. So again, not a ton of at-bats, but seems to hit him pretty well when he does. 133 OPS. Hey, I'm going to take that into consideration for this play. Seager is a very good, very disciplined hitter. Seager loves taking swings on the first pitch if it's a strike. He's a very aggressive, assertive hitter. One of the best in the league. I really love his approach, not scared to get into the box. Every time he gets into the box, he is ready to hit. A lot of guys you'll see stand there, kind of take the first pitch, just kind of feeling the guy out. No, Seager gets in the box and he's ready. He's like, hey, if that first pitch is good, it's a spot and I like, I'm going to swing. And it fares well for him overall in his career. Just an excellent, excellent player. So love Seager to go over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs in this matchup against the Phillies. So that's play number 2. Moving on to play number 3, we're sticking in this game going to the other side of the diamond. Bryce Harper under 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Might be thinking, Bryce Harper under 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Oh, that's interesting. Well, take this into consideration. Going back to last season, Harper actually went under this line in 9 of his last 10 games. Again, I know that really doesn't tell much going back to last season, but on the entire season last year, he went under this line in 51% of his games, so that's 70 of 136 games he went under. On the season, he did average just over 2 hits plus runs plus RBIs, but that's kind of driven by a lot of games when he did go over, he mashed, and he did go over. In the games where he went under, he was very quiet. So especially if there's guys on base, that you got to take that into consideration as well. Head-to-head against the Rangers in the last 3 games, he actually gone under this line in 2 of those 3 matchups. In one game where he did go over with 2 exactly, with 1 hit and 1 RBI. Looking at this matchup against the Rangers, looking at the Phillies lineup before we get into that, the Phillies lineup against right-handed hitting last season, pretty good overall, but if you look at Harper, only hitting 253 on righties as a left-handed batter, you honestly want to see that average higher, especially for that many bats, almost 300 at-bats as well. Against Nathan Eovaldi since 2018, Harper is only 1 of 8 in those games, averaging 125 average in 8 at-bats. Again, not a large sample size, but a decent amount, so that's probably, 3 games worth of Harper facing off against Evaldi and only hitting 125, so I'm taking that into consideration along with how he was trending last season, the head-to-head, and the last time of last season. Again, some of that you don't really weigh as much. I weigh more so the matchup against the starting pitcher because that's where you're going to get the majority of your bats throughout this game. At least 2, maybe 3 at bats, depending on how long the starting pitcher goes. So we're taking under 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs for Bryce Harper. So that's play number 3. Play number 4 to round us out. It's Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the World Series MVP of 2025, over 5.5 strikeouts. Yamamoto has gone over 5.5 strikeouts in 9 of his last 10 games, last 10 starts going back to last season. On the entire season last year, went over this line in 74% of his starts. That's 26 of 35 games. As you can see here, towards the end of the season, he really just locked in. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He had a stretch of 13 straight starts where he went over 5.5 strikeouts. So that feels really good about this. Again, we are getting some decent value on this as well, getting favored up a little bit. But if you go over to 6.5, look, it's a lot more plus value. So you could boost this up to 6.5, but we're going to take it at 5.5, where most of the books have this line at. Some have it, PrizePicks has it at 6, but we're taking it at the 5.5 line. Averaged a little over 6.5 strikeouts last season, so I would be okay to favor it up to 6.5 if you did want to, but we are sticking with 5.5. In terms of the Diamondbacks lineup facing off against right-handed pitchers last season, really didn't do that well, except for a handful of guys that did decently well, but majority of the other players did not do very well. So taking that into consideration, and then also against Yamamoto. So the Dodgers and Diamondbacks are division rivals, so they play against each other more than you would any other team, really, outside of your division. So against Yamamoto since 2018, obviously Yamamoto wasn't in the league in 2018, but looking at the matchup against Yamamoto absolutely mows down the Diamondbacks. Look at this. One guy who's really only had some decent success, and that's Ketel Marte, who's had the most, or second most, at-bats against him other than Corbin Carroll, but Corbin Carroll even not doing very well. So a ton of guys who haven't even got a hit, some guys who haven't even faced Yamamoto. That's just a nightmare to even think of. Only one guy who's really had any success against Yamamoto. All signs are pointing us to taking the over strikeouts. Again, another reason why I would be okay with going with 6.5 strikeouts, but we're taking it at 5.5. Yeah, I mean, you face off against a team enough times throughout a season, especially in the division, you'd think some guys would have at least more success than the Diamondbacks do, but it's looking bleak in this matchup for the Diamondbacks against Yamamoto. So I absolutely love this play to round us out for MLB opening day. I'm so excited baseball is back. Let's quickly review these 4 plays, and then I will go over my Novig 100X play for day 5. So Garrett Crochet over 7.5 strikeouts, my favorite play for opening day. Corey Seager over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Bryce Harper under 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. And Yamamoto over 5.5 strikeouts. So those are my 4 plays for MLB opening day. I'm so excited baseball is back. And now for our Novig 100X challenge. So let's quickly recap the streak that we've been on. We started with Jaylen Brown over PRA. Then Jalen Duran under PRA just went 2 under. And then Jalen Brunson over 6.5 assists. He's finished with 7 in this game, so it just went 1 over. And then day 4, we had Embiid over PRA, absolutely mashed over in his first game back from injury. And then for day 5, we're rolling over the winnings from day 4 to day 5. We're taking Kobe White over 20.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Here's why. So Kobe White has gone over 20.5 PRA in 8 of his last 10 games, averaging 24.2 PRA over that 10-game stretch, actually hitting each of his last 5 matchups where he's been absolutely balling out. Head-to-head against the Knicks, he's actually gone over this line in 2 of his last 3 matchups. Again, his last matchup, he just missed by 2, but he was also on the Bulls and got traded this season, so that's something to really consider as well to factor in, but averaging 28 PRA against the Knicks in his last 3 matchups. And going back to 2024, hit this in 81% of his games, 61 of 75 games, and in 2025, hit at a 76% rate in 31 of 41 games. So over like 2 seasons, he absolutely mashes this line. On the entire season, this season, he's averaging 25.78 PRA. So he's only missed in 10 games this season. Again, hitting each of his last 5, absolutely balling out. Over his last 10, playing about 20 to 21 minutes, getting decent rebound and assist chances for that many minutes as well, so being very effective while he's on the court, shooting 47% over his last 10, but even shooting better over his last 5 recently. Last game, he shot 9 of 12 at a 75% clip, so you know he's feeling confident going into this matchup against the Knicks. Also, he will be coming off of a day of rest in between, so that also helps as well. He'll feel much more rested and ready for this game. Another big thing, he's shooting 42% from 3 over his last 10 games. He went 6 of 8 last game, 75% from 3. The Hornets tied a franchise record for threes made as a team. They were absolutely just raining down on the Kings. Also picks up a few free throws per game as well, especially over his last 5, like 3 or 4-ish, depending on. That always helps as well. We're not going to be upset about that at all. So really great metrics from Coby White over his last 10. And facing up against the Knicks do rank top 5 in points, 3rd in rebounds, and 7th in assists allowed overall. So they are a tough team defensively. But if you look at all the position groups they face up against, lockdown point guards, not so great against shooting guards, decent against small forwards, great against power forwards, and great against centers. So arguably of those 5 positions, they rank the worst against shooting guards. Of all the positions that they defend against, shooting guards are their worst matchup. So they rank 11th in the league in points allowed, 13th in rebounds allowed, and 22nd in assists allowed to this position. So we have a decent to favorable matchup. They give up about 20 points per game to shooting guards. So even for being 11th best, that's still a decent amount of points, 6 rebounds and 5 assists per game. Hey, all of those signs are pointing to over for Coby White, the best position matchup we could possibly have against the Knicks. Hitting well over his last 10, shooting lights out, not only from the field, but from 3 especially. Hit rate good against his last couple matchups against the Knicks, and going back to last season and this season, he just dominates this line. So I feel like for getting a good, decent odds, look at all these apps favoring this line up. In agreement with this line, in agreement with 20.5, I feel very confident in this play for day 5 and super excited that we've been rolling on this Novig challenge. So again, that is Coby White over 20.5 points plus rebounds and assists for day 5 of our 100x challenge. I think if we cash out 3 or 4 more times, we will 100x our money. So thank you all for watching this video. I'm super excited for opening day. Please like, comment, subscribe to this channel. Really does help me out a lot. I appreciate every single one of you watching, and I will see you all tomorrow for more picks.